Good morning, everyone. How we doing? Welcome in. Getting all the tabs set up right now. Had to free up some space for the recordings. Wasn't letting me start the stream, so there was too much occupied space. Storage is full. All right. Welcome in, everyone. How are we doing this fine morning? What's going on, Paul? Steve, how you doing? Sorry about being a little late there. We have quite a few things to talk about this morning before we get into the stats. Once I get my thumbnail up here, we can get right into the stream. What was that tag I just got? Nice. All right, we're going to get right into this. Tradeify had a massive release this morning. We're going to talk about all those changes, rules updates. Looks like a lot of people are already liking it, which is nice to see. All right, so before we get into any of the data today, we do have 22 minutes until market open, so we don't need to worry about that too much yet. Let's talk about Tradeify. And more importantly, so they have their new dashboard launched. More importantly, let's talk about the new plan they have on here, which is the 25K for both the select and the growth. They already had a lightning funded 25K, but for these accounts, for the growth anyway, it's 1 day to pass. So this is essentially the same as the 25K Pro. The only difference is there is a $600 drawdown on it, or daily loss of it. So it's a little tight, but they don't have the frequently asked questions updated yet. I am looking to see what the payout rules are for this new account. It is by far the cheapest account they offer, though. You can get it for $59 if you put in Zinc will work too. Let me just put in Leo for now. Yep. So your first couple of accounts, if you use code Zinc or if you use code Leo or if you use code Dash, whichever one you want to use, all the affiliate codes will do the same. $59 all in. So there's no more monthly billing on Tradeify. Everything is one-time payment, so it's almost identical to what Lucid's doing, and I think they're working pretty closely together. These accounts, I don't know what the payout requirements are for them. I'm assuming it's probably half of what the 50K is, which your max payout's $1,500, then it goes up to $2,000. This one's probably in the lines of like $750 for your first payout, maybe $1,000. If it's $1,000, then this is by far one of the better accounts in the space right now. Funny enough, I just tweeted about this and just said something about if they added a 25K account, they would be moved up to the top. But this is phenomenal to see. How's the quality of the stream, by the way? Everything looks good. Clear enough. What's going on, Bob Ross? How you doing? Love your paintings. All right, so I tried going to the frequently asked questions for, we can go over to growth. Growth funded. They don't have it updated yet, unfortunately. So I'm trying to get the rules on the back end for it, but $59 for an account. So if you guys are interested, Again, it's code Zinc. You can also use that for Lucid, but I'm digging right now to see what the payout requirements are for it. If it's $1,000, I don't know if their dashboard updates real time or if it's still end of day. Either way, this is a 1 day to pass account. You need 1,500 profit. It's 250 more than what Lucid is. So Lucid still has the upper hand on that. And Lucid's dashboard updates real time. Oh, never mind. Dashboard data is now real time, updating within 5 minutes. Trading Journal updates every 15 minutes. You can update your accounts real time now as well. 40% off all accounts 5-time use, 30% off after. And it looks like, so they changed the select account profit target from 2,500 to 3,000. And that looks like about it for big changes on current accounts. New 25K accounts, selecting growth, lower cost entries adds so traders can start smaller without significant structure or without sacrificing structure or opportunity. TradeC is now available as well. More platform choices, including TradeC, TradingView based with AI tools plus clean UI. So you can now also copy trade 10 accounts on TradeC, which is a valid platform with both Lucid and Tradeify. So I'm assuming if any issues happen with that platform, you can probably get corrected anyway. So let's see what their new integrations. Reward pool by account size. Okay, let's drag this up into this tab. And we'll read all their new updates. It's a pretty big morning for them right now. Nice. All right, so here's Tradeify 3.0. We're going to go and read through this one. I'm going to make sure I go and head live for the Discord first. I'll hop in here, share screen. Which one am I on? Don't need it on Firefox. Okay, share that screen. And then what's going on, Rebo? How you doing? All right. So new platform, obviously. They integrated TradeC. So that's one of the newer updates that they have. Tradeify's journal is super nice. Yeah, it's like a TradeZell journal from what I've seen. I really like it. I'm going to put my phone on mute somewhere, but I don't know where to stick it. I can put it over there. Just a second. Okay, you just read all about it, so it's trending on X. So they added TradeC. You can now copy trade 10 accounts. They talked about this. Looks like it's still in beta. They talked about this with Lucid a while back. You can now copy trade if you had 10 accounts. So you have 5 accounts with Lucid, 5 accounts with Tradeify. You can copy trade all 10 of those. They added the Tradeify Elite Live program. So very similar. All this stuff is very similar to what the updates Lucid's rolling out are. You now get a reward for reaching profit within the account. So each account has its own independent pool. Trade 5 accounts and you're looking at 60,000. This is for the 150K. So if you get moved live with a 25K account, you get an additional 10,000, which is really nice. Or you can go for a 50K, 100K. Consistency score below 40%. Your profits are evenly distributed, not dependent on one big day. Never exceed 75% max drawdown. So the select plan traders who demonstrate discipline during their sim funded phase get rewarded with a 50% larger pool. Nice. Oh, they're rolling out a lot of rewards on here. Okay, the growth 25K. Evaluation 1,500, max trailing drawdown 1,000, daily loss limit 600, 1 day to pass. No consistency rule and eval, just hit the target within your risk limits. Payout cap is that is incredible. So $1,000 per year payout cap. This is the same plan as the Lucid Pro in my eyes. The only issue is that they have a daily loss limit of 600. Really tight on that. And then it says once you're funded, your consistency rule kicks in 35% of your total profits. So it's 4 days to a payout. You could technically get it in 3, but you'd have to have almost the exact same profit day after day after day. So you'd have to hit 500 on the dot per day, and then you can request 1,000. But I think it would be a little bit better if you go for maybe like 800 a day. If you wanted to get in 3 days, not saying that you need to rush. And then the biggest thing, which is going to put them way up on the top now, subscriptions are gone. So every plan is now exactly the same as Lucid. It's a one-time payment. No more recurring purchases, no more recurring charges. You buy it, you own it. Select and growth plans are getting a small price adjustment, about a 3% increase. This applies to the website pricing, checkout, and all partner platforms. Real-time data automation. Instant activation for select evaluations. Hit your profit target and satisfy the consistency rule. You can now instantly activate your funded account right on the dashboard. No waiting once you pass your funded. So you could go and get these 25K growths, $59 for your first 5, $1,000 max payout for them. Pass them today, and then you can also, I don't think there's a minimum day requirement anymore. I think it just says 35% for the growth. Yep, 35%. And then Tradeify 3.0 introduces a completely redesigned platform experience, faster, cleaner, and more intuitive across the board, real-time performance tracking across all your accounts, seamless account management, and fully integrated tools so you can focus on trading instead of managing software. The Select 50K and the Lightning looks like they're the only two that got downsized for the risk. So those are the only two that got kind of nerfed. And then the Elite Live Performance Reward Pool earn up to 90,000 in additional rewards. New plans with clear structures, more platform choices with Rhythmic and TradeC. One-time pricing across the board, which is probably the biggest takeaway here. I know that we're on edgeful right now, but this is still really nice to see. Cool things to talk about. Again, if you guys want to hop into some of these new accounts, I'm probably going to pick up some of the 25K pros, 25K growth. Sorry, they're essentially the same as growth pros. I'll probably get some of those. Those are going to be essentially the same as the Lucid 25K pros. You can get a 5K payout every 3 days from the looks of it. One-time payments, so you guys don't have to rush the accounts anymore. Instant activations right across from your dashboard, and then the trading journal is automatically integrated. It's really cool. So all this stuff is really cool to see. Select account, probably not going to go with this one. I don't think the reward pool is all that good. Growth, I still think is one of the better accounts, and it's also going to be the cheapest account on here as well. So you guys can get it for $59, and then after $59, it goes up to, I think with the 30% discount, goes up to like 67, 68, 69.50. There we go. Third time's the charm. Really nice updates across the board. But for today, we're going to be trading on. I'll review the trades I took last night as well. Had some damn good luck. Had some really good luck last night. Yeah, the 25K on there, the 25K growth is going to be insane. And again, if you guys want to pick some of those up, code Zinc, of course. Tradeify, Lucid, MyFunded Futures. So last night I did something relatively simple. I took a trade on the Asia IB. I saw how strong that 7 o'clock candle was down. I took 2 MNQ, got stopped out on the trailing. So 67 profit on that. I think I was up 120 at one point. Took another 2. This one also got stopped out. I was looking for 23,000. Finally got 23,000. And then as soon as we went and hit 23,000, I went 1 micro long, caught 123, and then re-entered because I got my trailing stop hit again. I've been trailing it rather aggressively with my funded futures. And then yet again, 344 off 1 micro, 1 MNQ. And that was just as simple as a long off of 23,000. Psych level 23,000. No stats for that, no back data, no IB trade. That was as simple as just saying, hey, this is a psych level. Same exact thing that we did when we hit 24,000. If I can go and scroll up to that. So this was a secondary reaction at 24,000. That's why it failed. But you can see when we retested 24 2 times, it rejected real hard. The first time that we bounced off 24 was right here. And you can see the explosion. Obviously, this was a news candle, but you can see the explosion we had off of 24,000. And then again, I'm going to delete this one. Again on 0320. So last Wednesday, we hit 24,000. Took a long there, and this one was also a 200-point bounce. So those 1,000-point psych levels are going to be super significant for support. Don't need any data to back it. You just take a small position. It usually sweeps. So I went in last night with about a 50-point stop loss. It missed by, I think, 10 points. I got really lucky again with how fast it pushed up. 50 points. So my stop was at 22,975, and it missed by about 15 points. And then this thing, it was within a minute. I'll show you how long I was in that trade. I think I was in total for like 2 minutes. So this one was about an hour worth. First entry was 3 minutes, and then the second entry was 4. So in the course of 7 minutes, 1 micro made me almost $600. And then I also missed an additional 100, but I'm not complaining about that. I was in bed. So really happy with those. What I'm going to plan to do with these accounts is I'm $100 off a payout with them. We'll see if we can make that today. I'm also out of the drawdown threshold, so I'm not going to request the payout quite yet. I'm going to look to probably increase these up to 3,000, and then that will be a $10,000 payout. That's going to be the goal. What are your trailing stop settings? It's not my personal one, Paul. The trailing stop settings that are on here are the trailing intraday drawdown, which kind of sucks for my funded futures, but the rapid accounts, the benefits, you're getting daily payouts. Also, yesterday, Top Step, so Tradeify today released a brand new dashboard, brand new account, brand new set of accounts, phenomenal update from them. Yesterday, on the opposing side of that, we had Top Step introduce trailing intraday drawdown. So, not very good from them. If you go on X, you can just look up Top Step. It'll be all over their pages. For You page, everything on there. But not very good release. Not a very good release from them. For today, we are opening within previous day's range again. I do have a little PTSD from yesterday, a little trauma, because yesterday we also opened, I forgot it's only Tuesday. Yesterday we also opened within Friday's range. We were about 75% of the way up to previous day's high, and we took previous day's low. And then the target that I looked for an expansion into the afternoon was the overnight low, which we took. And then we hit 23,000, and you can see the bounce that we had off 23,000 was pretty strong. Now for today, it's Groundhog Day. We're opening almost at the exact same level on Qs. Those are previous day's range right there. And then here is our London range. So we should still be anticipating a break of previous day's high. If we go over to our inside bar stats here. One more. So inside bar stats are showing us that we have a 83% chance of taking previous day's range. We're 5 for 5. This is a really significant stat. You can see how many days in a row we've broken out of that range. The last one that we did not break was February 19th. So we are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days in a row. Well, 12 data points in a row of this breaking previous day's range. So that target on MNQ is going to be up to 23, 5, 3,500 points. And then MES is pretty much right at that level. MES needs to go and take 64 or 71, which it's 12 points away from, 14 points away from, sorry. And then nothing for gold. Don't really care about this one too much. That about does it for data today. Also, not going to be anticipating a gap fill, as you can see. I mean, same thing we did yesterday, though. We were gapped up 0.89% and 0.94%, respectively. We're gapped up 1.1 right now. So our odds for a gap fill, 0% over the past 6 months. We've had 8 gaps of this size. 0 of them have filled. So it's pretty likely that we do not fill this one today. And then for SPY, same thing. 2 gaps of this size, 0 of them have filled. SPY usually doesn't gap up this much. Qs, it's a lot more likely because of how volatile it is, but we only have, we have 0 out of 8. So 0% chance over the past 6 months that this gap fills. Something good to look forward to. But should have tried the short entry at IBM, targeting IB low. Yesterday, I did not get... The reason I didn't take the entry on SPY was because Q's already broke the IB low. SPY was perfect. I did try one entry after stream, and then I chickened out at noon. Never ended up holding it, and it ended up breaking at 1 o'clock. This gap fill is based on a full fill. 100% of the gap fill, 0 out of 8 over the past 6 months. So very unlikely that we have a continuation down and fill that gap, but said the same exact thing yesterday, and we ended up going and filling the gap. So we'll see. I'm going to make a tweet about those Tradeify accounts because those are phenomenal. Those are incredible. I do need to pull up that tab. Let's see if I still have it. Nice. It's crazy how much has just changed in the past 2 weeks. We'll see. My Funded Futures is also supposed to launch a new account this week. It might be today, so I've been told. So we'll be on the lookout for that. Let's copy this. We're at 30 seconds still open. 3 seconds, sorry. And there we are. So we're gapped up 1.07 once this updates. You guys will see it should say a 0% chance at the top. We'll give it a couple of minutes. Tradeify is cooking. That's incredible to see. I'm so happy. Beautiful. So you can get $5,000 out with a sub $300 spend. It's beautiful. Oh, shoot, did I spell Tradeify wrong? I did. Dang it. Oh, well. Switch the I and E on accident. DLL and the growth eval, I'll probably get the select. Is there a DLL on the eval? I didn't think there was. I didn't think I saw that. I think the $600 daily loss summit's only for the. Oh, that's the wrong tab. I think the $600 daily loss summit's only for the funded portion. Let's see. Oh, never mind. You're right. $600 daily loss limit for the eval. That kind of stinks. But you can still, I mean, now you can, it's almost the same with what Lucid does. And I'll pull up my Lucid dashboard so you guys can see what many of you have hopefully gotten to. When you get through to Lucid, so you go into your dashboard, let's say you hit the profit targets, 1250. As soon as you pass that eval, it's going to show right here, upgrade to funded. It'll be highlighted in green, be all pretty. Upgrade to Lucid funded. You will upgrade it in 5 minutes, which is the same as what Tradeify's dashboard does now. And then you can trade that account same day. And I'm assuming with that 35% consistency, you could do almost identical to what I did on Lucid, a payout every 3 days. So the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, that was my first payout. The 6th, 9th, and 10th, second payout. 11th, 12th, and 13th, that was my 3rd payout. And then they moved me live. The only downside is this was 40% consistency. So you can see my days were 1298, 946, and 1,000. 35% consistency means these have to be a lot tighter than that. So it's going to have to look more so like the 6th, 9th, and 10th, where these are off by like $6. Maybe even the 11th, 12th, and 13th. The 40% consistency is going to be a lot easier to reach. Also, we are just about taking out previous day's high. Mark that out. Yeah, sorry about that, David. Does Lucid let you trade with Rhythmic? Yes, they do. Lucid's Rhythmic is on TradeC, though. These are 25K accounts, John, is what they added. The dopamine that you get from not only instant funded, so activating it as soon as you pass it. My funded futures, Tradeify, and Lucid, those 3 all do it now. I don't think Top Step lets you upgrade instantly anymore. I think they make you wait end of day. Not sure. Did I forget about the JP Morgan collar trade? It should be today, Eddie. I haven't really been monitoring it. I have it marked out on SPX on the 24-hour. Which I'm glad I did. So we have up to, or down to 6290. So we're not really, I mean, we're at the top of the collar right now. This is their sold put. I highly doubt price is going to get below 6290 by end of day today. It's probably part of the reason we bounced so aggressively last night too. This is ideally for JP Morgan. This is the perfect outcome to their collar. So these calls are expiring worthless. These puts are expiring worthless as long as it doesn't drop below 6290. And then the calls that they bought, they could also assign those if they wanted to. So they could not take a loss on those calls. If we close over 6450, they will actually come out positive on this whole trade. The 5310, that one may, I mean, if they sold it like last week, maybe the week before, they may have profited a little bit. But this collar trade, with how wide it was, this one didn't really do anything for us. So I've been watching it too much, but we'll see what they move forward to with today. Ideally, I want to see them stretch it longer so we can get back to those highs that we were at. Oh, I'm so happy about those Tradeify accounts. It's awesome. Just picked up 5 growths. Nice pip T. Hope you use code Zinc. How are my Lucid Live accounts doing, Lonnie? I still don't have them. Believe that. I still don't have my Lucid Live accounts. This is going on 13 business days now. So they reached out to me and said that, in their defense, they said that their platform forgot to flag my accounts for the new transition. So they gave me this one account. Doesn't have any data on here, of course, but on Sunday night last week, so it was only 5 days that I waited, and they made the account for me. I was supposed to get 5 accounts. They only gave me 1. So I reached back out to them and I said, hey, I think you put me in the wrong program. I was supposed to get 5. And they said, yes, our system forgot to flag you, or for some reason our system didn't flag you. So now I rejoined the queue, which is sad. Are you going to get 90-10? Yes. Yes, I am. They got to add a temp sim funded like Perdea does, so you can trade while you wait. Lucid did? I didn't see that. Man, I got kind of hosed on them. This is probably the longest transition to live that they've had, because they made a mistake and put me in the wrong one, and then I've been waiting ever since. Sad. All right, so I am going to be anticipating price moving up to 568.10. That is previous day's high. SPY is about to go and take it. The beautiful part about the stat is that when we go to inside bars, once you take previous day's high, you only have a 10% chance of going and taking previous day's low as well, and vice versa with previous day's high or previous day's low, whichever one you break first. In this case, we are slightly favored to go and break previous day's high, 49 versus 45%. But once you, again, as I just said, once you break it, which SPY is about to do, as soon as we break 640.34, this level on the chart down here at 629.24 is no longer valid for us to go and break. It could still hit. Obviously, 1 out of 10 times it does. Out of our past 80 data points, 8 of those have broken both the high and low in the same day. So unless we have news come out today, we will not be anticipating a $10 drop. We also have a 0% chance for a gap fill, which is just above previous day's low. So 2 very strong points or data points for us to not continue down. Let's go. I'm going to go and add some of those Tradeify accounts right now. 25K growth. Go ahead and use Dash. So it's going to be all in 59, so $295 for 5 accounts, which is by far the cheapest across the board. And as I just stated, it's a one-time payment. One-time payment. So you guys do not have to worry about how long it takes you to pass the account. You don't have to worry about your total profit for the account, how many days, how many weekdays it takes you. It's beautiful. No more subscriptions. Lovely. I will give TradeC a try, but just not yet. It's still technically in beta. So with those accounts, if they have slippage on them or if the accounts have a CPI move or some kind of news move and you end up getting filled poorly on the candles like Wiz did in here, not really interested in pursuing that. We have jolts at 10 a.m. Yeah, I don't trade the first 15 minutes anyway. PMI isn't too crucial. Jolts is a little more significant. This week is also NFP, but keep in mind, everyone, the market is closed on Friday. It's Good Friday this week. Good Friday this Friday. Easter Sunday. The Friday before Easter Sunday is Good Friday. The market is closed. So we will not have any trading on Friday. James probably won't be live on Friday, neither will Andre. What are you doing besides the 2 hours of trading per day? Check edgeful stats, journaling your trades, or do you have other businesses that you take care of? So my routine for the day, I get on live, I trade 9 to 11. 9 for each day, I'd say it's about 9 until the IB breaks, and then we kind of just sit here and chat. I don't trade 9:45. I get on at 9 just to talk about news over the night. In this case today, we talked about edgeful stats from like 9:15 to 9:30, and then we talked about the Tradeify update. After I get off stream, I usually go and take the dogs for a walk, work on other content for either the WAP, the Discord. Like the past several weeks, I was working on my course, which I still have to record 2 more sections for whatever reason. I had music playing in the background. And then I have baseball practice. I coach at a local high school. And then I come home. We have the IB trade from 6 to 7, the Globe X IB trade from 6 to 7. And then that is my day. Usually just sit in bed after that. Who's texting me? I tried TradeC is not ready. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've seen some people that like it. I'm not saying it's a bad platform. I'm sure that Tradeify and Lucid are working phenomenally on developing it, but I've seen several instances for people to take the trade during CPI, for people that are trading during New York even. Slippage. You're getting filled on the wrong candles. The chart's freezing every couple of minutes. Maybe it's volume coming in. I haven't used it personally. This is just what I've heard from other people. I am tempted to take a long to previous day's high. Last time I did that, I got kind of whacked. SPY already took previous day's high, so that's the reason I'm kind of leaning towards that direction. I think that we get a nice continuation up towards that high, 568, 567. And then once we take that high, should have a pretty smooth continuation. It is about a 100-point move on MNQ. Well, actually, it's not 100 points anymore. It's down to 60. So $120 on 1 micro. If anyone wanted to take that position, 1 micro, and then just put it 1-to-1 or have like a 50-point stop to it, so you can put your stop at 420, should run up to that level pretty easily. I'm already up 710 on the day, so I'm just going to wait for the IB trade. If you guys want to review that overnight trade again, let me know. I gladly will. Making a run up towards that high. Now it's 23, 539 is the level that you're anticipating. So from where we are right now, it'd be about 55 points. Not too shabby. I will be, as soon as I get those Lucid accounts is when I'm going to start trading on them. I'm not going to, I might wait a little bit. There's no inactivity on them because they're live accounts. So I'm not going to get punished for trading when I want to. About 40 points off now. Making a new high on the IB as well. Man, Tradeify's new dashboard is quick. This is nice. Overnight trade got in here like 10 minutes ago. Please review it. Please review it. I took it. You please run your pre-market edgeful routine. Okay. Also, just about at that high. Missed it by 10 points. Should pretty easily go and take that right now. Kind of regretful I didn't take it long, but that was also PMI data. Very easy target, though, if you guys like that inside bar. What would be a good DPT for the 25K growth? Trade it the same that you don't have a rush on it now. So trade it the same way that you would on a funded account. For the overnight trades, once we go and take this level, I'll go and take a look at them. So again, this level is going to be 23,538 is the previous day's high on Qs or M and Q. For overnight, I took shorts at looks like about 710, and then I was targeting down to 23,000. As soon as we hit 23,000, I reversed position. I went long, 1 micro, 23.24 up to 23.86, so 123 on that. The only reason I got out of that position, one, it pushed up 80 points in the matter of 2 minutes. 2, I also got trailed out with where I was trying to move my stop loss up to. I re-entered almost immediately, had a 50-point stop on that as well, and then made 344 on continuation. So 23.78 up to 23.250. That was in the course of 7 minutes last night. 7 minutes, just about $500. And then we missed that high just now by 7 points. We hit 23,531. We're retesting down to 23.5, and then we should pretty easily make that spring back up. IB is signaling long right now. What strategy do I use on overnight? The Globex IB. So you can go into edgeful, go into M&Q, and then you can change your time frame to daily, and this will give you the stats for the IB overnight once it loads. So for a Wednesday, we don't take it. For Tuesdays and for Mondays, they're actually really solid to play. Last night, we just unfortunately did not get I had a limit order set at 50% of the IB. If I scroll way in here, I had a limit order set for 2 M&Q short at 23,123. It hit 23,127. 23,117, 118. So I missed it by 5 points, and then it dropped 150 points, 160. And then I went long at 23,000. That one wasn't a data play. That one was just me playing a psych level. Psych levels are very significant support levels. So anytime you see price hit every 1,000 points on NQ, MNQ, or every 100 points on MES/ES. Those are going to be significant support levels. I saw that last night, King. Elon Musk says reports of Robinhood and SoFi being cut from SpaceX are false. So that should recover the entire drop that they had yesterday, which is kind of silly. Oh, Hood had a split. Wondering how it was all the way back down. Here comes that run towards previous day's high again. Missed it by 3 points. It's got to hit 23,538. And there we go. Level taken. Definitely could have longed right after PMI signaled bullish. Obviously, this is all in hindsight. So you could have caught like a 130-point trade right there. That would have been nice. So now what we're waiting for, we have jolts at 10. We no longer have the draw to previous day's high, so it's not going to gravitate up towards that level as fast. However, what we do have is when we go to inside bars for Qs, once we take that previous day's high or previous day's low, we go to the buy breakout sub-report. That shows us that we only have a 10% chance, 8 out of 73, 10.96, 11%, that price goes back down to previous day's low. So we should maintain bullish for today. And I will actually, I'll leak the course a little bit here. Let me go over to, let me pull it up in a different tab actually. Okay, bear with me for a minute. I'm going to scroll down to the right tab. Just a second. There we go. This is my favorite slide from the course. When price is moving, I'll zoom in here. These are the three phases of the market. Some people call it manipulation, consolidation, expansion, manipulation into expansion, whatever ICT reword it to. This is how the market's always traded. It's traded this way since it launched. It's going to trade this way and probably long after we're gone as well. Right now, we are coming off of consolidation. Yes, this is an upside move today. You can do it on whatever time frame you want. You can do it on the 15-minute. You can go to the 24-hour. We had expansion or a bullish move, consolidation, and then a bearish move down. We go down to the 15-minute. We can see that price is coming off of a bearish move. Very clear from last Wednesday. So that's our bearish move. Yesterday did look bullish to start because we started making higher lows, but in the bigger picture of things now, this is actually a consolidation period. What you can expect after this is either a bullish expansion or a bearish expansion. Looking more so like it's going to be a bullish one because we're still making higher lows. We made equal highs so far. If we can go and take out 569, then it'll be a higher high. Bearish into consolidation into bullish. We don't trade when it consolidates because that's when you get chopped to bits. We trade when it's bullish or when it's bearish. Sit out the consolidation, trade the expansions. What I want to see right now is have price go and take a new high at 569.06. Either way, we're going to be playing longs today. Again, jolts I'm not too worried about. PMI was the more significant data read. We have 2.5 minutes until jolts. We want our entry at 50% of the IB. We did not trade the consolidation pre-market or the consolidation really yesterday afternoon. The expansion down would have been nice to play shorts, but for right now, we're okay to play longs. Data is also in our favor. We know that there's only really a 10% chance that we go down. 500 away from passing these 25K growth. Nice. It's so difficult to say plural growths. IB50 at yesterday's high right now would be good support if we get there. On SPY, yeah. I was going to say NQ is way below previous day's high for that IB50. I'm not in a trade right now. Can you please tell us which assets you're trading? I'm going to be trading MNQ and MES. So I'm not in a trade at the moment. I'm looking for MNQ to come down and do something like that. Then we can get long. For right now, just waiting. We have a minute and 20 seconds until jolts. Are you looking to enter off London 50? London higher, IB50. I'm going to be entering off London. Not London. I'm going to be entering off of IB50 today. And we can go in, now that I'm over the drawdown threshold, we can go in with 2 micros. Depends on the size as well. It may just be 1 micro. So this is about 100 points. A little under 100 points, like 95 points from the 50. We get a retracement though. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's jolts. Our current high, so it is 100 points now. 103 points is what our range is going to be. Jolts looks to have been a little bearish. The long trade looking for previous day's high was fire. Thank you. Thank you. Which MyFunded Futures account do you recommend? It's kind of hard. I like the rapid accounts, even though they have the trailing intraday drawdown. I'm not a big fan of flex accounts, and really any account that has the baseline that TopStep has. And what I mean by that is not the payout cap or consistency or $150 winning day. TopStep only lets you keep 40% of your profit to start for your first payout after your first payout, but I'm not concerned with that stat because 95% of traders, don't even reach that first payout, but 97% of people. So of that 5%, probably 60% to 70% of that group, that 5% group that actually reaches a payout, will not get to a second payout. So 97% of people that buy a prop account will never reach to a payout on the same account. TopStep taking full advantage of that, and the same with MyFunded Futures Flex accounts, the same with Tradeify Select. If you get the larger payout cap as opposed to the daily payouts, you only keep 40% or 45% of your profit, because for TopStep anyway, their max payout $6,000. To get that max payout, you have to make $12,000 on that account. Not only do you only keep 50% of your profit, so you take $6,000 of the $12,000 you made, but then you also take the 90-10 split. So if you made $12,000, you get to take $6,000 out, and then that's also 90% of that $6,000 is what you keep. So it ends up being $5,400, which is still really good. But to get $5,400 from TopStep, you have to make $12,000 on the account, which is a lot. That's the same with the MyFunded Futures MyFunded Futures Flex, and then the same with Tradeify Select. If you're moved to live with Lucid, do you have to pay the CME professional fee, or do they cover it? They cover it. It's part of their subscription. So I do not have to pay the CME fee. They cover that on their end. For my funded futures, I prefer the rapid accounts. They are launching a new account this week. So if you want to hold off on buying any new my funded accounts, today, tomorrow, or Thursday, they will be launching a new account, a new plan that they said is end of day trailing drawdown and 2 days to payout. So you can pass it in one day and then get the payout the very next day. It is supposed to be their best plan. This is what their CEO said last week for their town hall meeting. It's supposed to be their best plan that they've had. So if you want to wait for that tomorrow, go for it. If not, all the accounts that I trade on now are 25Ks. These are 25K rapids. I have the 25K Lucid live accounts, and then I just picked up some of those 25K growth from Tradeify. I prefer the growth from Tradeify, Mikey. Those ones are most similar to the Lucid Pros. Lucid Pro is still top in the prop firm space right now. It's 1 day to pass. There's no daily loss limit on the 25K growth. I'm all over the place now because of all these accounts. There's no daily loss limit on the 25K and still one-time payout. The reason I think they're a little bit better is because they're offering you instant funded still, but they're also instant payouts, no daily loss limit, 40% consistency as opposed to 35. I just chose the select on my funded. Oh, that's okay. Do you risk all the drawdown per trade for evals? No, I don't. I trade about the same on the evals that I do on the funded account. The only difference is I'll take more trades on an eval if I'm up on the day. For today's example, I'm just going to take the IB trade because I'm up 710 on the funded. If this was an eval and I needed to reach 1250 to pass it, I would take 4 M&Q lot trades and I would put a 20-point stop on those and I would chase 20 points. So just 1-to-1 on all the trades. So I'm risking 160 to make an additional 160. And then I'll do that until I pass the account. Or I won't really set a TP on those trades because sometimes you get moves like what we had overnight where you get a news move or you get a significant fast bounce in the direction that you're looking to play, which is exactly what happened last night with the 1 micro. That's why I haven't really been setting TPs on my trades. Really nice reversal right now. Jolts was definitely bearish. No music today. You guys should be able to hear it. Should be able to hear the background music. I have it on 10. If it's not loud enough, let me know. But there should be a nice little elevator tune in the back. Jolt is the jobless claims report just came out at 10. I go over to market data this week. What's going on, Prats? How you doing? Market Watch, U.S. economic calendar. We had job openings at 10 and then PMI, Chicago Business Barometer at 9:45. That's the reason that we had that move at 9:45, $3 candle. But you could also say that the reason we had that move was because we had price targeting previous day's high, which was a very significant price target to go and hit. I love playing those inside bar stats. Really nice pullback. Love the keyboard ASMR. So I don't. If you're being sarcastic about that, I apologize. I have a decently quiet keyboard. I don't know why it clanks so loud, and I also have the noise suppression on too. I am looking to long NQ right now. We got to wait another, preferably 15 minutes though. This is a little too early to go and take it. That was a course that I built, BB, that will be part of the Discord. What's going on, Andy? How you doing? A really nice pullback on both ES and NQ. For ES, our entry today is going to be targeting 6474. So this one's about 23 points, $115 risk. And then for NQ, it is almost 100 on the dot, 23,480 to 23,581. So 101 points, $205 of risk. What's going on, Kang? How you doing? Just a little too early to take the trade right now. I think that's too much time for us to go and take a new low. I don't think it's going to go and take a new low. We don't have any stats dragging us to the downside. Jolts is the only thing that would push us down. We're gapped up 1.6% right now. Very unlikely that we have a continuation and fill that gap, and we only have a 10% chance of taking previous day's low. So all these levels down here, no reason for us to go down there, data-wise anyway. So this is all indicating that we should not go and visit those levels. On the opposing side of that, we have the IB high that should go and get taken. The only issue is I don't want to take a new IB low while we're in the trade. We could try it. We very much could. If I do it with 1 micro on M&Q, that would put me at a payout qualification for my funded if we get an entry at 50%. The longer it takes for us to get to 50%, the better off we are, though. 20 minutes is a little... I don't know. This is a tricky one. It's definitely very strong today, so I wouldn't mind taking that early of an entry. I just don't want some freak thing to happen where we go and take a $3 candle to the downside, take a new IB low. But I will be looking to get longs here shortly. SPY or NQ, either one. I'll take it on either. Not too picky. We lost the last 3 out of 4 Tuesdays. Tuesdays historically are the best days to play it. Recently, they haven't been working all that well. If we go over to the IB for Tuesday, you can see that the IB low and the IB high stat have dropped significantly. But if we go over to like the past 2 years worth of data, you can see that this is the best day of the week to play the IB for both Globex and the open IB. This one has dropped a lot because of, I mean, it's lost for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the past 7 Tuesdays. It's taken a loss, but 83%. This one was previously at 75. In 5 years, it makes it even better. But this is definitely, it's due a win on a Tuesday. I'm not too worried about not taking the trade. It's due a win. My phone's blowing up today. We got another 50 minutes to go for the stream, the segment. I'm going to be looking for price to get down to 566.60. Is what I want to take an entry on Qs. And that long entry for M and Q is going to be 23,479. Hopefully, this next 15-minute candle gives us a nice wick down to 50%. I guess the only thing I don't like today, which I'm not going to put any emphasis on, is that 9:45 PMI candle has no bottom wick at all. Doesn't really have a top wick either, so we're pulling equally both ways. That bottom wick, the lack of that bottom wick is a little alarming though. Not a fan of that. Hasn't tapped 50% on ES or NQ, so no entry, even if we were to take it early. I had London IB on M and Q, 1 point from stop loss before reversing to TP. That's unfortunate. Oh, no, never mind. That's fortunate. Other way around. I really like playing inside bars. Had this been like this today for the inside bar, then I probably would have jumped in early right now. Since we already took it, we don't have that draw to the upside anymore. So price isn't going to be gravitating towards that previous day's high as we've already taken it. On the flip side of that, price also will not be gravitating towards previous day's low since we already took previous day's high. We're either going to do 2 MES today or we're going to do 1 M&Q. That will be the trade. Or we could also do 1 MES. Not too picky. 23,500 is very strong support. It is. Psych level. 500 point psych level. You have your psych level at 23,000 that we bounced off very aggressively last night. And then we have a resistance at 24,000, which I don't think we're going to get up to today. We're at 23.6 just about. Are you going to long at 50%? That's what I'm looking for. That's the entry I'm looking to get. Just got to be patient. I will actually I'll put a buy order in though. So we're going to do buy 1 limit on M&Q. I will be watching SPY. Whichever one of these hits first is the one that I'm going to look to get the entry on. I'll go ahead and put that buy order in on M&Q now, just 1 micro. Don't need anything bigger than that. If you want to trade this with multiple, you can, but just know that your risk is also increasing the same. So micros, even 1 micro does a lot of work. We're going to wait on the order to fill for that, and then we will just watch SPY. See if SPY goes and hits the IB50 first, I'll take this one. Hopefully Q's drops and hits it right now, though. We have 14 minutes until the IB is set. I'm going to keep flicking between these two, see which one hits. Growth Tradeify accounts, yes. Maybe shorten the IB to 45 minutes. It's available on edgeful too. It's always worked for the hourly time frame. I'm not going to shorten it 45. Sometimes they're just not going to get entry though. And I've learned my lesson more than enough times of chasing it. Like Dan Cook, he does his 25% IB trades where he'll enter, that would have just hit right there. If he goes into edgeful for the IB, you can slap on your 25 and 35 levels. 25 and 75, he would have taken a long entry right there. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I prefer the 50%. That's his strategy. Mine is entering at 50. His is entering at 25 with a stop loss at 75. I prefer the IB 50 to IB high or have a stop loss at IB low. SMT between, not really. They're lined up, or both of them are over previous day's high. I wouldn't really call this SMT or divergence. Obviously, Q's is a little tiny bit weaker, but I mean, they're both up. Q's up 1.8%, SPY is up 1.6%. I try to stick to IB50 as much as possible. I usually take a golden zone around the IB50 of about 10 to 15 points either way, and we'll take entry from there. Doesn't Dan also play negative RR? Yeah, he puts his stop loss at the 75% of the IB and his take profit at IB high. Sometimes he plays an extension, but for his trade, we'll try to get him on live here, maybe talk about. So he would have entered right there, and his stop loss would have been at the 75. So he's entering it with like a half RR, maybe like 0.6 RR. That's the trade that he usually takes. The trade that I prefer to take is the same long position and have it be 1-to-1 because your IB is invalidated when the IB low gets taken. Very few times it does happen, but very few times the IB hits. Perfect example from Friday last week, or even we had another example last week that I didn't take, and I was rather there we go. So he would have taken shorts, and this one would have lost if he entered at 25% anyway, and exit would have been at 75. The IB was still valid. This one, had we gotten the entry right at 1030, put in that short position. I did not take this one. I just want to make that very clear. I'm sad that I didn't. This was a almost 5R trade, 4.72. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by saying that sometimes, very rarely, but it does happen, the IB will go to like 90, 95% of the IB, almost invalidate it, and then go and hit full TP, which is what it did on Wednesday. This one had news with it too. Trump said something about Iran, I'm sure. Iran. But let me, you know what? I will reach out to him. We'll see if we can get him on stream next Tuesday. A lot of you guys have a lot of interest in his trading strategy. I'm interested in how he plays with that 25% entry as well. Let's see. Almost at our entry right now. Q's actually looks a little bit closer. This 23.5 level is going to be a little issue for us to get through, though. So we could put our entry up at 23.5. I think if it does sweep below, if it hits 23.5, it should sweep a little bit below and then tag us in. Let me reach out to Dan. Would you guys be interested in having Dan on stream either on like Thursday or Tuesday next week? Drop a 1 in chat for that. Sorry about the keyboard. So close to hitting our level. At 23.5 is being a little too strong. SPY also has a little bit larger of a dip, but I think it's at 6,300, right? 6,400. That one could have been that was 2 points off the IB50. Loudest keyboard ever. I have no idea why it's so loud. I'm so sorry. Even with the noise suppression on, it shouldn't be that loud. The filter of IB close midpoint changed the stats a lot. You don't worry about that. Not really. Stats are stats. I mean, it favors it sometimes. For the most part, though, and this is the main example I'm going to keep referring to, you're going to have outcomes where this is, I mean, 90% of the way towards the IB high. This one was 20 cents off of hitting. And then it had a 280 point drop to the IB low. So 591 all the way down to 586, went all the way down to 585. About 40 points per point on Qs. So like 200 points to 240 points is what it made to the IB low. In total is about a 280 point drop all the way to that low. This would have validated you not getting in because it closed over the midpoint if you're using that stat. The IB I still think is the overall best stat to use though, because it tells you whether it's going to hit the high or low. Whenever you type, I hear that Jim Carrey gif in my head. Yeah, sorry about that. Probably doesn't help that it's right in front of my mic, but I mean, it's supposed to be a quiet keyboard. I can go buy another one, I guess, for a tax write-off for next year. So I try not typing too much. We barely missed our entry. Hopefully it comes back down in the next 5 minutes, but we were off by about 20 points, and then it just went all the way back up to 23.72. It's having pretty consistent. We go to the 1 minute. This is the second 70-point bounce off of 23.5. This one hit 23.502. Last one was 23.495. It swept just below 23.5. This is kind of in the way a little bit for today. I really want a long. Not going to take an early entry. Every time I've taken an early entry, I've got whacked for it. And it ends up coming back to the IB 50 and then going up to the high anyway. So I'm taking a loss for no reason by having a lack of patience. And then if we end up missing the trade, so be it. I'm going to type as quietly as I can. Do you enter after 10:30? Yes, because the IB is settled. It's formed at 10:30. What am I typing though? I just sent a DM to Dan Cook asking if he wanted to hop on stream next Tuesday or Thursday and talk, or even this Thursday, and talk about the IB. He trades it a little bit differently than I do, but he's also had a decent amount of success with it. Like he just did 22,000 in payouts last month, or this month, actually. It's still March 31st today. He did like 22,500 in payouts using the IB 25 as an entry. So he would be in the trade technically right now, I believe. Go to the middle lines. So he would have taken an entry at 567.87 with a stop loss down at 565.43. How would you know if you take a trade at IB 75 instead of IB 50, or would that not be possible? That's something to ask him. I honestly don't know. I don't know how he validates entries at those levels as opposed to waiting for it to get to 50. I took last week, I think I took 2 trades. One of them I know for a fact was on Tuesday last week or Monday. Monday I took an IB 25 entry, and this one ended up playing out. But the week before that, like this one on Friday, I took an early entry at a 1-to-1. It would have played out if I put the stop loss at the 75, but I ended up getting stopped and I re-entered at the 50, and that ended up working. Same thing. There we go. I have one charted out actually here. So I entered again at the 25. He puts his stop loss at 75, so it's technically negative RR. I put mine at 1-to-1. So I got stopped out on this position. And then I re-entered at the 50 and it ended up winning. Because I took the early loss, though, I ended up losing for no reason, and I only made half the profit of what I should have made. And that's from a lack of patience. So today, yes, it kind of sucks that we're about to go and take the IB high. We could have definitely gotten an entry at 23.5. We could have definitely made 80 points. We could have made $1 million today. VWAP also, I just saw that comment. I believe he incorporates VWAP as well. Yes, but sometimes when price is moving like it is today, VWAP isn't really in the picture. So if I add it on with an anchored VWAP, and I go down to the 1 minute even, you can see that VWAP is way down at the IB50, regardless of what time frame you go on. It's way down there. So for days like this, when price is trending too high and your added confirmation is the VWAP, then how do you validate that being a confident entry? Because if you would have taken, there's a million different things that we can add into this. You can add psych levels. You can add 10-point levels. Steven, what's the guy that streams on my funded TV at night? He was just streaming last night. He was talking about this. He scales into his position at every 10 points. He says the big guys usually do about 15 to 20 points. So meaning that if this is a winning position, he will add in at 23.5. He'll add in at 23.510. He'll add in at 23.520. He'll add in at 23.530 and so on. And he said that's what most of the big guys that do futures also do. When they scale into a winning position, they add every 10 points. The IB is closed, yes. Hopefully we do not take the high, although we're 10 points away. It's definitely going to go and take the high within this candle, I would imagine. Session VWAP, even that one, if I just bring it to regular trading hours, it's still way down there. So these are all, it's a pick and choose with it, which isn't something that I would want to do. I don't use VWAP anyway, so it's not something I have in my chart ever. I used to use it. I want it to get down to 50%. That's ideally where it should head. After it breaks today, just keep in mind with the size of the IB. So we're looking at a 0.86, 0.85% IB. I have the order set on M&Q, by the way. I don't think it's going to hit. I think we're probably going to go and break the high very soon here. Get off that time frame, please. Once we break the IB for today, because of how large of a range it is, our continuation stat is only 1/3 because the gap is between 0.7 and 1.5. We have a 1 in 3 chance that price continues and goes and hits up to, should be about like 572, 571.50. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. Maybe we get lucky and this gets a retracement down. I'm not going to enter early, as I was just talking about. Anytime I've entered early, which I think it may have just hit 25%. Let's see. Not quite. Almost hit the current high, also previous day's high. SPY is looking a little bit weaker, so this one might go and hit it, hopefully. I think did this get down to 25%? Almost. There is not a stat that shows the IB success rate by pre-market gap, no, but you can just go and use the gap fill by size stat. And this one, it's a 0% chance that we have a gap fill to the downside today. With the inside bar breaking, which had an 84% chance of happening. So the IB by rejection is the only thing that we can lean on right now. After the IB is broken, again, we only have a 1/3 chance of going up to 571.46. So after this high gets taken, I draw this all the time. Price is probably just going to do something like this for the rest of the day. And this is barring any news that Trump comes out with. Brian said 67% chance of a retracement to IB 25. So it may, if you're saying that stat, it's probably going to go like this for the rest of the day. The buy retracement doesn't mean that it's going to break the high, though, which is why I've been a little sketched out to trade it. It hit perfectly on Friday, but for the most part, and again, this is barring any news. If we have Trump come out later and he says we're nuking him, YM looks a little bit better, so we might be able to take this one. Let's see. I don't think I have YM as an instrument to trade on here, though. Yeah, it's delayed on my funded. I don't know why. So you could take an entry on this one at 50%. It does look a little bit better. This is what I'd be expecting today. So with that IB by retracement set and the size of the IB, as soon as it breaks, price doesn't really do anything for the rest of the day. That's what I'd be anticipating. And we've had several instances, like Thursday last week, 2 weeks ago. This one is probably going to be the most similar. Wednesday, March 18th. Same thing on Tuesday. A lot of similar days where price just kind of pitters out. Also, the IB just got taken. NQ just broke. Really quick wick on that upside. So that one's done. We can go ahead and take our entry off of. No more entry on M and Q, so cancel that order. How did my eye get so itchy all of a sudden? The Discord never hears the keyboard because Crisp works really well, but the StreamYard one does not. And it used to be even louder too. Order canceled. You guys will have to hear it for a little bit longer. IB's taken. We could try it on ES. Yesterday it still broke, even though SPY broke the IB, NQ broke the IB low, and then ES came back and retraced to 50%. We'll look for an entry there. Here comes the 25% mark. We'll see if we get a bounce off of that, which we are. Also, another reason I don't prefer to enter at 25% is you're only targeting, like this is a 12-point move on SPY. That's $60 on one micro. You could enter with a lot more, obviously, but then where do you put your stop loss? If you put it at the 75, it's a negative RR trade, which I don't do. If you put it at 1-to-1 and you get stopped out, then it's the same outcome as what I just pointed out with 2 Wednesdays ago. If I can get back to it, where I took a loss early and then it ended up hitting the IB 50 anyway, and then I took a win. But if we go down and hit the 50 on SPY, I'll take the entry today as well. You guys could get a great, I know it's really hard to sit in the stream and not take anything. It's just as hard for me to actually sit here and not take any trades myself. But you guys can take a great tip from PJ Trades. He just made a video on this 2 weeks ago, last week actually. He did 3 streams in a row without taking a single trade. You don't need to take a trade every day. I'm actually gonna go and slap we're gonna do 2 micros on MES. 6474 is my entry if we get down to that level. $6474. Give me another 3 points to the downside, please. Don't make me miss 2 entries today. That'd be so sad. No, you're almost there. Putting an order at 6474 for 2 MES norms. Six, 4, 7, 4, 5 points. I may chase this one up a little bit. Almost there. Someone blow on it. Q's is a lot stronger right now too. I'm going to rush it a little bit. So it's another 2 points above. That's okay. And we'll put the stop just barely above the IB low since we entered a little bit early, and the TP is going to be at the high. So it should be about a $200 trade, and then we can risk also on the opposing side of that. I'll just put it 1-to-1. Stop loss will be a little tiny bit above the IB. So 6478 was my entry. It's 4 points above the midpoint. It's not too bad. If it goes and hits the midpoint, then it just proves everything I've been talking about. Patience. Stop loss at 6457. TP at 6497. Let's see if we can get that high bounce now. This is about a $200 trade if we can get it. Then we can say the IB remains goaded and go on with our day. Not worry about what happens after. 67% chance of hitting an IB midpoint, only 30% chance of hitting the 25. Keeping an order at IB 50. Green Asia, Green London, VWAP way under. Does it say 100% chance to reach 01 on levels? Like a 10% continuation? I can add that one in. Let's see. Only a 66% chance that price goes up to 0.1, 10% of this move. So not even that likely that we have even a marginal continuation up. Very, very low. Looks like we just hit almost at the midpoint. What would the stop loss? What's the difference? 7 points, 14 times 5. So another $70 is what we'd risk. No, I'll leave it where it is. That should be fine. How much time should we wait for an entry on 50% level? Any time limit or wait cancel if price doesn't come? I would probably give it until like noon. I mean, if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and we haven't hit the 50 yet, but the IB high hasn't broken, probably don't even take the trade. I like to trail the stop loss in most cases. Since I'm over the buffer on these accounts now, I don't really have to trail it. I can just leave it where it is. Also, we just hit the 50. So everything I just said about patience, I still broke that right there. And that would have been our ideal entry. Kind of want to move the stop down to the low, just in the event that we do trend all the way down there. But I'm going to leave it where it is, 20 points away. So it's $200 RR in this trade, 1-to-1. We got 18 minutes left in the stream. Have you worked through trailing stop strategies? Some of my best testing shows when we get like 85% of the market, trail the stop to break even. I have. I actually talked about this on my funded segment last week. So for trailing stop orders, I'm going to draw it up at the top here. Let's say price is, I'm going to go in with a long position charted. So let's say if I can find it, where the heck is it? There we go. So let's say you enter a position and it's 1-to-1 R. There's your position right there, 1-to-1. You're expecting price to go from your entry, hopefully to your TP, right? When you move your stop loss up, also this is falling a little too fast now. Not sure what's going on here. When you move your stop loss up, also I'm staying in this trade until it either hits the TP or stop loss. I'm not going to alter it or add in early. So when you take your trade, this is your initial trade. You're risking 1-to-1. As soon as you move your stop loss up, you may think that it's actually de-risking you. But what that is telling you is that you still have your 1-to-1 open. When you move your stop up, you're altering that trade. So let's say you are up at 680.70. You're almost at your full TP. When you move your stop up to break even, you're altering the trade from a positive risk reward to a negative one. Because what that means is that you were technically risking the profit that you're up in the position down to a break-even stop loss. So even though you're technically not risking anything on the position, you're altering a break-even trade into a negative RR trade. It's called evolving risk reward. Not something that many people do. You do it subconsciously if you move your stop to break even. You're turning a good trade into a bad one. That's why so many people get stopped at break even. I mean, I do the same thing. When you get stopped at break even, very frustrating, isn't it? May even cause you to tilt a little bit because you were in a winning trade if you had just secured the 180 that you were up. Now that 180 turned into a $0 day. So that's why I like to either secure or kind of reset on the trade maybe, as opposed to moving it to break even. Most of the trades I've taken that have hit a significant profit, those ones, when I move the stop loss up to break even, they do get hit a lot more often than if I had just left the stop where it was. We're still good on the ES one right now. I'd be very surprised if this doesn't go and take the high today. If it goes and hits our stop loss, I'll be a little upset, obviously. But for the IB by rejection, we have an 80% chance to go and take the high. This is definitely not a 100% chance. Wow, 11 out of the 11 past ones. We can go to a yearly time frame now. We do have really good odds to go and hit the high today. So I'm not too worried about this trade. It should be about 76%. 26, out of those 26, 20 of them went and hit the high. 6 of them did not. First break was the IB low. It has a wick. I use the zoom tool and it has a little one. What zoom tool are you talking about? Well, I don't know what candle you're mentioning. It also just hit previous day's high, so it should have a good bounce here. If our entry was at the IB 50, we'd be only down 2 points right now. But it's okay. IB 50 on M and Q as well. Shouldn't have a double break today. Trade in the direction that formed last. Place limit, buy or sell at 50%. TP and stop loss at extremes IB, 50% win rate. Doesn't have a 50% win rate. It's up in the 70s at the very least. This is part of the reason that I closed on NQ yesterday, or I closed the SPY trade on when NQ took the high, is because when one of them takes the high and the other doesn't have as strong of a draw because they're not pointing in the same direction anymore. Yesterday, obviously, it still worked out on SPY. Yesterday also had drawdown into almost 75% of the IB. So you would have been down a decent bit if you had entered right at 50%. This one looks like about, with 2 micros, about $120 in drawdown, and then it went and hit full TP. Not looking too ideal right now. I do want to move the stop loss down, but that's risking another $70. If it goes and hits that stop, it's probably going to go and take the full thing. We'll see. Not adding into it at all today. Zinc, when we're backed with stats like now for long and price reverses, don't you take another long with a cheaper price? You could. I've almost entirely stopped averaging into losing positions because most of the time they just end up losing more. If you have the same stop loss on this trade, which is the IB low, yes, I'm only going to be risking 10 points, but it doesn't mean that I'm automatically going to go and get a 4 risk reward or a 4R trade. Why I'm taking lows? It's almost there. It's not quite yet there yet. Just don't write off this trade too early. I mean, we still have another 5 points. It doesn't look good. Can still reverse. If we end up losing in this trade, it's a $200 loss. And then we note for next time that if NQ goes and takes the high, SPY hasn't, avoid the trade. Funny enough, this is actually probably going to turn into a double break if SPY goes and takes the low too. But again, if it ends up being a loss, it's a loss. But don't write it off before it actually happens. Another thing from your analysis and the strategy, does this work better on NQ than ES? It's about the same on both of them. It's not one over the other. They need to line up, which they did today. It looks like we're getting drawn down to that lack of the wick on PMI, which kind of stinks. The only thing I'm doing wrong here is that I didn't enter at 50%. My stop loss should be at the IB low, but I also don't want to risk a negative RR on the trade. So if it ends up bouncing from here, or it takes my stop loss and bounces, it'll be a little upsetting. We'll see. It just barely missed it by 1 point. But this is everything I mentioned earlier in the stream. It's shame on me for not being patient enough to wait for another 4 points. I even had the order set there too. I just got a little greedy and I wanted to get in the position now. Had we taken the entry all the way at 25% of the IB, we would have been stopped twice over right now. Waiting for it to go hit. And then once it does, we will close the stream for the, not the stream, close the tab for the day, just move on. Probably going to be a double break day, which would be a little upsetting because those only happen, not on SPY, on Qs, those only happen like 12% of the time. 16% of the time, sorry. We're at London 52, hopefully bounce from there. Shut your mouth. It's not looking, stop loss filled. So negative 205 on that. Make sure to go exit both orders. If it hits the stop loss and bounces from here, I'm going to be very upset, but it's probably going to go and take the low. It's another 7 points away. Not too much that I see that we did wrong on this today. The only thing that we could have added in is because Qs took the high. I did mention this, but I didn't. I said I wasn't going to put any emphasis on it. The lack of that wick on the PMI candle, I think, is what's drawing us down as well. So a little painful, but we'll move on. I took 2 MES, so I took a 205 loss on that. It was 20 and a half points. So 42 points total on MES. Why not consider 50% gap fill, which has 85% probability? Because that's a skewed data point as well. There's only 2 outcomes on that one. I did look at that earlier. If you go to gap fill by size and move it down to 50, save for a gap size today, there's only been 4 out of 4. It's not an 85% chance that we go and fill that. I hope we don't bounce from here because that would be disappointing if we should have put our stop loss at IB low. But as I said, if it's adding into losers as well, if I had just added into that trade, we would have lost more. For what reason? Because we wanted to target a 4R trade or a 5R trade. So I'll take it on the chin. We'll move on to tomorrow. I did have it's funny, every time we have a good Globex, like last night, usually have a bad New York. And it seems like the trend may still be overall bearish, but we'll live for another day. Not going to tilt into it. Go and type out stop loss hit on that. Negative 205. Technically negative 1,000 on that copy trade over the 5. I really hope it doesn't bounce from here. If it bounces before taking the IB low by like 2 points, and we should have had our stop loss there, flip my desk. The size retracement, you have to go back 2 years to get an 85% retracement. Let's see. For 50% of the gap fill, it's still very unlikely, even 50% of it with the size of the gap. Fill percentage set at 50%. Save. Very unlikely. Even over 2 years, it says 28% of the time. It's bouncing a little bit. So it is what it is, guys. It's going to lose 20% of the time, 25% of the time. Tuesdays have been really bad. It did win on Qs today. So we'll add in yesterday. The reason I took it, the reason I didn't take it yesterday on SPY was because Qs broke. And then I saw that it still worked. So today I was like, if it worked yesterday, we'll take a little learning curve from that and try it out today. And unfortunately, the inverse happens. So Qs goes and takes the high, SPY does not. Might even drag Qs down to a double break, which is about to. And that only happens 16% of the time. Pretty unlucky on the stat day. But we also have a very low chance of filling. I don't want 2 years of data anymore. We have a very low chance of having a continuation. We have a very low chance of having a gap fill. On Qs at 0%. I'm going to move it back to 100% of the gap fill. Don't really care about 50% too much. And there's the IB low taken. It is what it is. Something I could have added in. I did just see this. So I'm going to put the screenshot in chat. For the IB by rejection, the streak that Tuesdays have been on for SPY, clearly it's not a 100% win rate. Even though it's at 11 out of 11, it's missing 3. This should really be reading 82. I don't know why it's saying 11 out of 11. It should be 14, 3 outcomes, 11 of them hit. If we go to the past year, just to get a little bit more data for this. Look at the bounce off the low too. Double break on 564.23, 564.22. So double break on Qs as well. We just hit a 16% outcome. So there we go. That's what the win rate should be for a Tuesday on SPY. So it has been kind of streaky, but for inside bars, this fulfilled today. For the gap fill, this should hold up, but keep in mind that we just invalidated a like 78% win rate stat. And then we also hit the double break on Qs, which only happens 16% of the time. And we'll move on for the day. No tilting into this. One loss is okay. We'll move on for Globex IB as well. We may not have tonight work as well for us because Wednesdays aren't really good for the IB. We'll see. Sorry about the loss. We hit a 6% when the same side forms, but they diverge the break. That's a 6% chance. I don't want to spam type into... That would probably blow up everyone's ears if I did that. If I typed what that prompt is, but BR Soccer Star, we had a 6% outcome today, according to edgeful AI, which I believe. I'll type it in after the stream. The prompt that I will use is same type of one that we did on for the initial balance not lining up, 0 out of 7 days. There's only been 7 out of 127 days that have not lined up with each other. Today is probably that bad of a statistic as well. I think we probably got drawn down by the lack of the wick on PMI, which is okay. All right, guys, we'll move on to tomorrow. Not too bad of a loss today. 205, 2 micros on MES. Could have done 1 MES. We'll save the accounts. The accounts will not be blown. We'll live on for another day. Take advantage of the trades from last night. We'll look for Globex IB tonight. I'm probably not going to end up trading it. Globex on a Wednesday is not very good, so we'll move on from there. I will catch all of you guys tomorrow. We will do the giveaway on stream as well with James and Andre. Andre is back, so we'll have that giveaway up and going tomorrow. For the rest of the day today, the IB, as I said, is already done for Qs. Especially since it went and took a double break, there's no reason to go and try to force something to this. There's no stats going up or down now because of the double break. So it can either go up all the way back up to 570. It can go all the way back down and hit 561, 562. Keep in mind that we only have a 10% chance of going to 555. So price should not proceed to previous day's low. It's probably just going to hang around where we are right now. We had the opening candle continuation, which lined up with the IB today. We had the gap fill by size, which lined up with the IB. Just hit a very unfortunate outcome. But that will do it for the stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you all tomorrow.